Okay, I'm starting the streaming now, so we're recording, but I'll record as a backup. So it is January 19th, 2023. It is 7:03 p.m. This is the Leadership Committee meeting of Community Board 11 in the Bronx. And who's chairing the committee meeting tonight? Al, is it you or Veronica?
I'll let Veronica take over, but I'll say a few words.
Because yeah, just so everybody knows, Al is acting chair since Yahe resigned as chairperson. So, and Serena I see is in, so that makes full attendance. I don't think Averill's in, but we have Roger McCrossin as co-chair. All right. Al, do you want me to share the agenda? Do you want to just read off the agenda? What do you want to do?
Yeah, well, we can, the first is basically, I can read it off. It's not that long. And then I'll turn it over to Veronica. Basically, the review of the minutes, Veronica?
So I submitted the minutes to the board office yesterday. We had to do the September, November, and December minutes. My submission was too late in the day for them to be able to review and get it posted. So they'll be available for the next meeting for us to vote on. And they'll be published on the website in the next couple of days, as soon as everything's reviewed and any errors or omissions have to be fixed.
Okay.
Jeremy, if you'd put up the,
Yeah, I'll put the agenda up.
the football agenda, we don't have a copy.
What's that? You don't have a copy? I left copies of the agenda on. I mean, people online don't have a copy, but you have agendas on the table, right?
For the full board agenda or just the leadership?
No, the full board. No, just yeah. I'll bring up the full board. That's it. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
See you.
Okay, sharing now. Can everybody see that? You want me to zoom in?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
zoom in a little bit.
So the first question I have is, are we going to try to meet at Maestro's or do we want to be fully remote? We haven't contacted them yet because a lot of times when we do, they save the space and then we cancel them and go remote. So we waited to contact them.
Jeremy, as long as we can do remote, I would continue on remote.
Why don't you send out a questionnaire to all the members and see how they feel in majority rule?
Okay.
I don't think, well, my thought is that we're still in the process of trying to figure out where we are, and then things are extended. So we may have to just continue the same way we did the last time. People can meet in person and to the best of our ability, have people log on the via WebEx.
So
just like we did in the past.
I think the only issue with having a hybrid meeting is that those that are on WebEx don't hear as well the speakers that are in person. We don't
Yeah,
have
but have we given everyone enough time to, because we're still, even the question that Jeremy just said, we're not even sure what the final consensus is. Are we meeting in? Because I don't know. I thought it was still the same way until we finalized everything. I don't think we've had a vote to finalize anything yet. Have we?
I just think that we should really just do remote right now until all of I work for a hospital. We have RSV, we have COVID, we have the flu still going around. It's January. Probably in the spring it'll be better. I just think that it's just,
I understand, but people are still meeting. People are still going to work. People still on the train. People are still.
All I can tell you, Oral, is
that we have to go. We have the ability to make a decision for ourselves to be healthy.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think we have.
Can I please ask that you wait till the other person is finished talking before you jump in, so we're not talking over each other, please?
Sure, that's good.
Thank you.
If we send out a questionnaire, Jeremy, if we send out a survey and see how the people feel, we just go with the majority. It's either virtual, it's in person, or it's either or both.
Well-
I agree with Al.
Did that not happen?
We did that before.
Yeah.
That was for December. That was for the
Okay.
December meeting.
All I can say is, if I may say something, is give a deadline when they have to answer back. Because some of them may see it and put it off. If you say we must know by Tuesday, and that's it.
Tuesday's too late.
Can
All
I
right,
say
then by
something?
Monday, whatever. But you have to give
It's-
them a deadline.
This is Chris. I'm the one that I usually speak with a gentleman from Maestros. I think it's too late. So guys, let's go for the full online
Remote?
kind of meeting. Yeah, remote, because it's too late now.
It's fine with me.
I think it is too late.
There is still a state of emergency, right?
Yeah, that's why we're
Yes.
able to meet remotely currently.
That's
Um,
why, that's why they extended
Other
it.
boards are meeting fully in person, so why can't we meet in person?
so
that's-
now what that I mean, we can ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. I mean, it is the 11th hour. So Sandy's right. We have to have a hard and fast deadline, whether it's tomorrow at 5 p.m. by Monday morning. We need to know,
Right.
so that way we can call Maestros Monday morning.
Right.
Monday morning, 5 p.m. would be the same thing as tomorrow at 5, basically, because you're not about to get them.
Well, no. Some of you actually check your email over the weekend, right?
True.
Yeah.
And
Jeremy,
usually I harass you when you don't respond right away anyway.
Jeremy, I'm sorry to kill your horse, my man, but nobody is at Masters on Mondays.
See, already, Chris, you've made a decision. We have to make the decision. It should then be
Again,
fully
we're
remote.
wasting a lot of time discussing this when, Jeremy, if you send out a questionnaire, hybrid, virtual, or in person, and if people choose whichever way it goes, that's what I will do it.
And
Let's
let them
give it-
know
We
that
gotta
the
sit here and argue
majority
back and forth,
rules.
it doesn't get it done.
But Jeremy, let them know that the majority rules.
So what's the deadline now for them to respond?
Monday, Monday. What's the
Yeah,
deadline?
Monday's fine. Monday morning, Sunday night, whatever you want to do. 12 o'clock Sunday night, how's that?
Since Chris said no one's in Maestros on Monday, we could do it
All right,
Monday.
then Monday. Monday's the deadline.
Okay.
Since nobody's in there.
I'll say Monday at 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. whatever, something like that.
Vote your vote.
Okay.
Can I make a suggestion, Maestros? If you do send an email or call them, they do check their emails and they do check their voicemail messages. So you could send something on for Friday tomorrow, let them know what's going on and that you are just awaiting a majority rule. So they have a heads up to say, well, we can't accommodate you anyway, even if you do have a majority rule.
Okay, so how about this then? Monday morning, 9 a.m. We need to hear from you, and that's when we'll tally all the votes and make a decision and email Maestros.
Terrific.
All right.
All
Right.
right.
I mean, go with
All right.
most of the votes. If people don't vote, that's
20 minutes.
That's big, that becomes the-
I don't care
You'll
how
see
you
them
vote.
in
I
action
usually,
hall.
yeah,
All
I
right, guys,
usually.
let's move on to the agenda. We've decided what we're gonna do regarding the meeting. Let's move on to the agenda.
no.
Well,
that's
hold
what
on
I was
one
saying,
thing, Veronica.
Veronica, that's not what I
Veronica,
was
when
saying,
you guys,
Veronica.
okay, can I finish?
Sure.
So I just want to respond to that. Whenever we have these surveys, these polls, I always get a majority. I always wait till it's clear that even if it's leaning one way until it's unequivocally decided one way, enough members have voted that you can't reverse the vote. That's how I do it. So there should be no concerns about how many votes we get. Because I literally call most of you and text you if you don't respond right away, or I have Harriet or Chris do it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what we usually do.
All right, thanks, Jeremy.
Okay, so going to the agenda, it's to be determined. Monday 9 a.m. TBD. Okay, we will have an hybrid option regardless. I don't know if anybody in the gallery signed up. We had a problem with our registration email. We had lack of access to it since January 6th. Luckily, Chris was able to get the city to help us out and correct it today. 49 precinct, Tyrone came to the Public Safety Committee. I don't think it needs to come to the full board, right, Veronica?
Yeah, he came to the public safety. I don't know if they're gonna be at the full board or not.
Okay, so bylaws, that's going to be the first committee report because they voted on bylaw amendments. The only thing with that is I haven't published the minutes yet. I was, formatting them, whatever. Although David does a pretty good job of typing them up as is. So he said in his minutes that they will be voted on next month. I will double check the bylaws, but these amendments were already proposed in December, which means they can be voted on this month. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions, concerns about that? I'll confirm it with David. But that is my understanding of the bylaws. Bylaws proposals. Mhm.
We're in the leadership meeting.
Yeah. Sandy, somebody was saying something?
No, I wanted to say you could discuss it with David, but he's pretty accurate. We may have to have it 2 meetings before, and then we vote.
Yeah, so
if we had it December, January, December.
So hold on.
brought up.
So let me read the bylaws to you. So amendments. Any member of the committee board may propose an amendment. It shall be submitted in writing to the chairperson, who shall present it at the next meeting of the community board, which was December. But no vote shall be taken at that meeting, which was December. The proposed amendment shall, after review by the bylaws committee, become an amendment to these bylaws of approval by a majority of the board present in meeting. So we don't have to wait for February. We can do it in January. Does that make sense?
I guess.
That was my understanding.
So I will reach out to him, but it doesn't say when the vote has to take place, but it can't be in the meeting at which it was first presented, which was December.
Correct.
Okay. So going back to, so that's the first,
The vote.
I would say, item. I don't know about I don't know if there's any members of the public. They want to state now that they're going to speak in the gallery.
Yes.
Bob Press would like to speak in the gallery.
Topic.
Exactly what, it'll be District, Community Board 11 matters, that's all right now.
And Diana, ditto, same thing. Diana's present too, and she would like to speak at the full board.
About.
Community Board 11 matters.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't be a stickler for this if we didn't have it in our bylaws. Aside from there's obvious issues, like if we have one group that are speaking about one issue, historically we combine the issues, but whatever. Community Board 11 matters. Okay.
Me, Jeremy.
What?
Same for me, because you have TBD next to me.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Is there anybody else here from the gallery that's going to speak at our meeting next month? If not, chairman's report, treasurer's report, secretary's report. December minutes have been up and sent out a while ago. Sergeant at Arms, Oral, you still want to do a Sergeant at Arms report?
So sorry, hold on. No, you can take that out. I don't need to do anything. Yeah, remove it for this time. Thank you.
So committee reports, we have bylaws. Like as discussed, leadership, this is an old business item that was brought up at the last meeting. So I don't know if I have that under old business for the agenda. We can come back to that. This is also, I know Ken has to leave early. This is also under old business on the leadership agenda. Ken, do you want to talk about this or do you want me to?
No, it's fine. I'll talk about it. The borough president's office has basically asked us to come up with a recommendation. What I would what I would like to suggest is that we invite the applicant to come and give an updated presentation on the income levels that they expect to have. And then we'll just have another vote from the full board on whether they want to recommend it, or a motion to recommend approval. And then if that is voted down, motion to recommend rejection. And let's do it that way. But I would like to have them come, make a presentation, and have the board vote on it.
So let me just clarify that, if you don't mind, Ken. So, so I'm going to put this under leadership. Well, we already made the motion to recommend approval was shot down. So
Yeah.
maybe you want to see, we'll put it out there and see if anybody wants to make a motion to recommend disapproval. And I will share later tonight or tomorrow, I'll share the email I drafted about how the vote went down last month.
Jeremy,
Yeah, can you hear me?
question, wouldn't we be, if we have another presentation, wouldn't the board be able to decide whether it wants to have a motion to recommend or approval or disapproval? And we could have a new motion to recommend approval, couldn't we?
Yeah, I mean, you can do whatever you want in that regard. I just thought because so the presentation issue. Historically, the board doesn't allow presentations at full board meetings. We did one, last year or the year before. And the issue with AMI, because a lot of people had concerns about AMI, that it's not a stagnant number. I don't know if people understand that number comes from HUD, the federal government, every year.
I think they were more concerned about that there were two not divisions, but that there were two levels of the AMI, and whether the income mix, they were concerned more about the income mix than the AMI. And I think that was not totally clear, and I think that if the applicant may be able to just have a short presentation on that issue, and then we can have another vote on it.
So we do have the borough president's land use staffer here tonight. I don't know if it looks like he wants to say something. I don't know if the committee's okay with him commenting on.
No problem.
I mean, this comes down to, the borough president is requesting a recommendation, one way or the other. Go, John.
Yes, I didn't want to speak until I was acknowledged, so I was holding off. Yes, good afternoon, Jitan Horseman, Director of Planning and Development here for the Bronx Borough President. That is a request from the Bronx Borough President that there is a recommendation. I understand, what happened at the community board, that there was a vote that occurred that was voting down the recommendation to support. In those cases, we would like then, when that does happen, that there would then be a motion to vote down the project or with conditions or whatever, right? Like, getting a recommendation, not getting a recommendation from the community board, there's a couple of challenges with that. One, the community did have input and there was a vote that occurred. And so, we want to recognize that vote regardless of how, what that vote outcome was. So, it is a moment to, give the community, it's in the city charter for that to happen, right? Like the vote is actually kind of a mandated piece of this process. So, we want that opportunity for the community regardless of support or against. So, as you advance, at this point, you're beyond the 60-day window. So you would be submitting non-complying vote. So we just want the vote regardless of it being what the outcome is.
If not, then maybe we should just put on the motion to vote, to have a motion to reject the proposal and put that on for the full board to do. The only problem is what happens if the board rejects that motion, then we're in the same position.
So how it works citywide is a vote that is not supported by the committee board. So if you vote down a recommendation, it's actually considered a negative vote. So there's several ways of doing it. You can either submit your previous recommendation, which was a voting down the recommendation to support, right? And I think that there's context there. The land use committee sent a recommendation to support. It was then voted down at the full board. That's one option. The other option would be having a vote where you actually find a way of supporting it, whether it be to support opposed to the project, support with conditions, or support in favor of the project. Again, there can be context with the recommendation that's submitted. It's just important that the community board does submit a recommendation.
All right.
I have a
We're
question.
flexible, but we need the recommendation.
I just want to ask Justin a question. If the community board is asking for more information so they can make a better judgment on their support or objection, because it wasn't presented to the community board, how would be the proper wording for that?
Well, I mean, you would want to submit a basically a letter informing the what happened with the vote.
Yeah, I can email the applicant and try to get an answer before the next full board meeting for anybody. Does that sound good, Bernadette? I'll email out.
Sure. I mean, there were questions during the meeting which everybody was agreeing with, that how do you make a good judgment call when you don't have answers to questions? Yeah, so you're just supposed to make, oh yes, we support it, but with these questions, blah blah blah. I don't think that could be taken two different ways. So.
I mean, I wasn't at the full board meeting. I know the applicant team was at the full board meeting. I won't tell you all how to run your meetings. I will say that there is, you could ask if the applicant is in the room to address questions as they arise. I understand that you don't want a full presentation, but they could be pointed questions to the applicant team to respond to certain things, such as the AMIs, such as the income ranges, such as other things. That way that can allow you to, based on that feedback, support or have comments on the recommendation.
I mean, that would be a very common sense way of handling an important decision. Are you in disagreement?
How about we do this? We ask the applicant for a limited presentation on the income mix that they are planning to have in this building, because I think that was what everybody was really emphasized, was really worried about. And if we get that from them, we can then have a new motion either to support or to reject, and we'll be able to do that at the next meeting. We can have the applicant come there and present either present it in advance, either present a letter in advance, or else be present at the board meeting.
And I just want to jump in really quickly, real quick. I'm listening to a lot of acronyms, and just for equity and continuity, I know what AMI means, but when we're talking, we should, I believe we should just speak to what that actually means so that people understand completely, for those that don't.
So AMI is annual medium income.
Right. So I think that when we're speaking, right, and we're going AMIs and we're doing acronyms and all of that, not all of us are familiar with that, so just to be equitable, I think that or fair, we should just, use the whole term so that people understand and follow what we're talking about. That's all.
Okay.
Well, that's why we wanted to have them give a presentation as to the income mix, because that would give more context, because you would actually be giving the numbers as to what they're planning. In other words, if they were planning on having.
Would you mind repeating that, Ken? I'm a little
No
seriously
problem.
hard of hearing.
That makes two of us. Me too. What I'm
He
talking
was
about
agreeing
is
with you. He was agreeing with you, right? Basically.
No, but I just want to hear. Even if he was agreeing with
all right,
me,
go
I
ahead.
want to hear.
Go ahead, Ken.
Okay. in other words, what I understood was that the most problematic area was that they were worried that the income mix was going to be skewed towards higher income residents, and the lower income residents were going to be left out. What we would really need to get is a presentation, just a limited presentation from the applicant as to what the income mix they're planning on having, and then we can make an informed decision on it.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you.
Okay, so people are having a problem with the area median income?
No, they were having a problem with the income mix because they were afraid that it was going to be mostly skewed. They were afraid that since they were not determining at that point what it was going to be, they were afraid it was going to be skewed one way or the other, and that was the
Okay.
problem.
All right,
If I
not the
could
area
jump in,
median
it-
income. Okay.
We weren't
Okay.
told what the actual AMI was going to be.
Okay.
We weren't told what the what the actual spread was going to be.
Okay. Thank you, Miguel.
Is that acceptable? We'll have the applicant give us a short presentation on that. They can do it either at the meeting, or if they want, they can give a letter that can be distributed to the full board if they want that instead.
I think that's fair.
I think a letter makes more sense than a presentation.
Okay.
Because
So
Okay.
they didn't give you information on what the area median income is for a particular area, right? And they didn't give you what that was, that information, correct?
If I recall, they used it was for the Bronx. So it was by zip. I think it was by zip codes or by census tracts. And I'm
Okay.
not
They
sure.
used the city's AMI. It wasn't the
They used the
area
city's
AMI.
AMI, not the area? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
it was
Malcolm?
city's AMI. Yeah, they're using city guidelines. They
Not-
didn't break it
not
down.
not the area that we're in.
Yeah, no.
Correct. Okay. Thank you, Malcolm.
Section 8 is more than.
So do you want to make a motion to that effect, Ken?
Make a motion that we ask. Make a motion that we ask the applicant to send us in a sense a detailed breakdown, a detailed statement as to the AMI and as to the income mix that they are planning in the building.
And it should be based on the area we're in, not citywide, as Malcolm said. Okay, great. Thank you, Malcolm, again.
So do you have a second for that?
I second.
Anybody? Bernadette?
Yes.
Any discussion? I know Jutan wants to comment.
Yeah,
Jutan?
Just because I'm not a member, so I just want to point out, there was discussion on AMI just now, and just as a point of information, the AMIs, while, it might be useful to ask the applicant specifically, if you want the local AMI, that's one piece of information. But when it's the AMIs for how it will work for the actually housing within the building, that's going to be based on the citywide AMIs, right? So, you can have the local AMIs and you can actually provide that, and it does give context to who lives in that local community. But also when it's actually the AMIs for how it will be worked for the finance component for when you're living there under an affordable building, that's another piece of information. So you can see like how much people make versus what the ranges are of AMI. So
Is there a reason why you use the city and
It's
not the area?
it's HPD standards citywide. That'd be a conversation with HPD, I think.
Okay.
So
Very good. Thank you.
We could try to have that conversation. I don't know, Hazel, Ted would probably be happy to talk about that, right?
very much so, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, the long story short, that brings up everybody's concern, I think, or a lot of people's concerns is that the income levels are too high because it's a citywide figure versus a Bronx one, right?
Yeah, Malcolm makes a very good point with that. If you use citywide, that
No,
includes people from Manhattan, certain areas, that's
right.
Doesn't make sense.
I think they were more concerned about the range and the percentages in the building more than the actual AMI, because
Both Kenny, I think it was both Kenny.
maybe it was both. That's fine. We can get we can ask them to send a letter and the little that we can distribute to everybody, and then we will have another vote on it.
Excellent, Ken. Excellent. Thank you.
All right. So Ken makes the motion. I mean, I'll whatever. I mean, you want all approve, right? I'll try to get that as soon as possible. I don't think we need to take that to the full board, right?
Well, we'll have the motion to the full board, but we just have their additional letter for us to possibly send to the full board. We'll see if we can get it when they get it to us.
Yeah. Jitan?
May I make one more suggestion? You know, there's been discussion on supporting the project and being opposed to the project. You know, if this AMI is kind of the one point of contention, you could have a recommendation, right? Like a support with recommendation type, where you say like the AMIs are too high, like, and that would actually be able to address certain concerns too, if that was the one concern here. And it also provides that additional level of information for us, the commission, the city council, everyone who's going to be weighing in on this, you know, further down the road, rather than it just being a without, you know, to reject the project doesn't really provide as much information as the rest of the context. So just throwing that out there as another very useful piece that you could all provide. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll think about it.
Yeah, I mean, is it possible to say that, you know, maybe we support the spirit of affordable housing within the area, and then go into the AMI thing that everybody was discussing at the last meeting?
Point of order.
All right.
I think if you put it in that context, so we'll talk about it, Ken, and maybe
Okay.
even. Okay. Well, go ahead.
All right.
Sorry.
We have the motion. Okay, have the vote on the motion, or any more discussion, or? Jeremy, can we call the motion, or?
So nobody's abstaining or is against the motion, right? So, I'll work on that immediately. As soon as the meeting's over, I'll reach out to the applicant. Right?
I do have one question, because I do remember when we discussed this, there were other issues that also went into the decision as far as the vote. So it was not just the AMI. And I think to focus solely on the income guidelines for the units is a disservice to the other voices that were mentioning other issues with the project.
So hold on, let me, Ken, let me interrupt you real quick, please. Just so we can try to move this along as quickly as possible. Not to single Cynthia out, but she's not a member of the committee. So why don't if you don't mind, Ken, why don't you withdraw the motion, wait till we get through the gallery, and then you make the motion again, or somebody else who can't stay for me. So we can move along. Is that all right?
Okay.
All right. So back to the Al or Veronica, we can go back to the full board agenda for the other items.
Yes,
I
please.
think that's good enough, right? No more questions about the land use item?
I don't think there's any more questions. We can move forward.
Okay. All right. So let me share again. I know economic development met last night. I don't know if they voted last night.
Yeah, we
or
had
we
both.
were-
We had three motions, I think, 3 or 4 motions. I'll get them to you tomorrow.
Okay. All right. So I'll keep this under leadership. I'll edit it as necessary. This item's old business. We can talk about now or later under old business. Somebody asked me about Orange Bank. I don't know when they're coming to the Economic Development Committee. Bernadette, are you voting? Are we going to have the full board vote on the applicants, or we're just going to submit them? Because
I think we're going to submit them. The committee went into executive session and made the decision. So there's really just really announcing who the 5 that were recommended.
yeah, so why don't we at least do that? We announce the 5. I mean, we can vote on it, but in the past, when it was decided to give it to the committee to decide, that's how it's basically set up. So sometimes we have a full board vote on it, sometimes we don't. But either way, the board members should know about.
Oh yeah, they should know about it, but we've never had that. Jeremy before, where basically the Education, Culture, and Youth Services Committee was the recipient of the applicants. Then they were voted on, and those 5 were presented to the board. There was never a full board. That was
There-
not a protocol, and I've been on the committee since 2008.
Yeah, well, if you want, I may be able to disprove you, but
Okay.
let's move on for now.
Well, before we move on, Jeremy, you mentioned the, oh, I'm sorry. You said Economic Development Committee, right? I'm sorry. Just, I don't
Yeah,
wanna,
I gotta pull up. Yeah, do you have any questions regarding the Yankee Awards though?
no,
We'll announce
I
the-
just wanted to make sure you weren't talking about the committee that I chair. That's all.
No. So, well, community development, I have it on the agenda. I don't know if there's anything you need under
Yeah.
your report.
I'm just telling my, you know, I'm a little hard of hearing, people. So I just wanted to just check in, and I'm gonna check out right now.
Yeah, no. So, do you have anything special you need me to type up on the agenda for your report for community development?
You're muted, Serena.
Serena, you're muted. Still
Thank you,
muted.
guys. Thank you,
There you
thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm logged on my laptop. Yeah. So it's all technology. Mercury's not in retrograde anymore. So the registrar of community board budget requests for community board 11, and specifically for all the boards, came out last week. I did email Jeremy in the hopes that maybe we can put that on our website so everyone can take a look at it. Additionally, all of the requests that were submitted to us via the public hearing last October were submitted, and so I'm reviewing the responses now from the city. We do have a public hearing in February that we're going to host, and then another one that's happening in the city in May, and then another one that
Serena?
yes.
So, just to save time, I just need to know what you need me to type, if anything, but not actually give your report tonight. You can do that next week.
Well, since I'm fairly new, I just wanted to, I don't know how all of this works, and I wanted the leadership to understand mainly that the budget came out. Please review it. If there is anything that you want to share with me, our committee meeting is going to happen on Tuesday, or not with me per se, but the committee in general, on the 24th. It's Tuesday. Join us. DCP will be joining us to talk about, narratives and the best approach as to how we can get the best for what we're asking for, or in terms of how we can write our narrative and then get the best response. And so I'm gonna end it really quickly. And so it's myself and Malcolm, but if anyone else wants to join our committee, I think it's really imperative to have, I think that every other community board committee in CB11 have a representative at least come and join us, so that we could all be on the same page, so that we know what it is that our district is asking for. And that's it. Does that work for you, Jeremy?
So, I put on, since you mentioned it, I'm just going to put it on, I'm going to put the hyperlink on there for the budget request. And it's just, so everybody has access to it. So it's easy versus going to our website and looking for the link.
And then if there are any other budget requests based on this throughout the year, please send them so that we can start a log of what those requests are, so that come October or October 31st, when we're submitting our budget requests to the city, it's not coming to me at the 18th hour and we're trying to facilitate all of our requests.
Thank you for that, Serena. Okay.
You got it.
Veronica, I just have to leave. I'll leave the motion, but I have to leave now. If you want to do the motion now, or you want to wait for it, I'm sorry. Jeremy?
What do we?
Yeah, I think we could wait. No.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to leave now and you'll vote on the motion later. Okay.
All right, thanks, Ken.
Thanks.
Okay, so community development's there. Last night, you guys voted for all the and recommended approval or just for some? Economic development.
For economic development, we voted, for most of our entries. We did wait on one and, to get some further information, but.
Which one is that?
Which one was
It
that?
was the Barnes Grocery.
Yeah, because.
Okay, so the rest of them, I can leave it on the agenda just in case there's new information, just so you can we can just talk about it.
East Chester Road too.
Yeah,
No.
I was just gonna look at my notes. Give me 1 second.
East
East
Chester
Chester
Road.
Road, Barnes Avenue, voted no.
East Chester Road, we did postpone, basically because we could not get any communication with anyone who runs it. And also it's closed, it's still under construction. So we were not able to really interview anybody or to go into the location.
So
We also got an email today from a member of the public complaining about the location. I don't know if Chris sent that to you, but we did get that and it will be sent to you.
yeah, Joe, we did, according to my notes, we voted for a letter of objection for Barnes Deli. Are we?
Yeah, Barnes Deli, we
Yes.
voted for rejection based on the fact that it's very simple. They're a grocery store and they want to have in-store drinking privileges. And also, there's lots of complaints from the community about the way they do business and the people that are hanging out in front of the place. They also supply the chairs so people can buy the beer inside and sit outside and drink. So to the public view, plus the fact that you can't have, we didn't feel that you should be able to have a bar inside of a grocery store. You have children going in and out.
So we have the other three can be done on one motion. At the full board, and then the letter of objection for the Barnes Grocery we'll do separately.
And then the Eastchester Road was tabled.
Yes.
Eastchester Road was tabled. Gun Hill Road, I will tell you, is that's an excellent place. The Code Red restaurant that's open there. It's well put together. It's well staffed, fully staffed. It's clean. It's neat. Their Ansel systems are in place. They have 4 means of egress. Everything opens out. So it's a well-run, well put together, extremely clean location. So we were very happy to approve that.
Okay. All right. So then
Also, I want to add something. I'm sorry, Jeremy. About Barnes Avenue, members of the public were totally against it. In particular, Miss Delgado, and actually, she is online and she can hear. We were promised by her that she's going to write a letter. So and also, I told her that the letter that she's going to provide or the facts that she's going to provide is going to be dispersed to the board members, so they can be clear what's going on with Barnes Avenue and they can take the right decision. They can vote the right decision on the full board this coming Thursday.
So is that Chris? Is that or Veronica? Is that motion? Is that motion contingent upon receiving stuff like that, or should it be included?
No. It was
No,
already
it's not.
objection.
Yeah, it's not contingent, but she said she
Okay.
would provide us with the letter, and when she does, we'll provide it to the board.
Okay. All right. So then the renewals, no issues, and then the letter of objection.
No objection.
Okay. And then the other one, we don't bring it up, Joe, please. We don't need to discuss it. You discussed it in committee. All right. And then Orange Bank, I mentioned. I don't know if you heard that earlier. I don't know what's going on with them. Okay. I'm sorry, I have this here twice. Okay, education culture. Okay, that's where that is. Ethics and disciplinary. I think we're gonna schedule a meeting. Things are moving with that. I don't know if there's anything you need me to type or write, Naomi.
We're gonna be having a meeting in the first 2 weeks. I'm gonna talk to you about a date, to help me with a date. But
Yeah, that's
calendar,
what we'll do next. Okay.
okay. And I just want to let everyone know we're trying to improve the process. So I have sent out emails to those who have made complaints and let them know that we're reviewing them. And we have, we're working on the policies in the process because it's not working. So we're going to make improvements and make try to make the committee more efficient. Thank you.
I would also like to add that I know that Veronica is quite busy, and if I might ask if I would be appointed co-chair of the committee replacing her, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
That's a good idea because I don't know, Veronica, it's up to, I don't know how this works, but I know you have a lot of committees right now.
I'll talk to Al on the side and we'll get back to you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, so bylaws, education, leadership, land use. Oh, land use report. Yeah, all right. Land use we already talked about more or less. Which committees am I missing, if any? I'll type. I'll tweak the language. Housing. I don't know if there's anything to type. Nominating elections. I don't know if there's anything. I should type in that. Because we are supposed to take nominations from the floor. And then we're going to have an election. All right. So in terms of that, statements have gone out. Some people didn't receive some of them. So I know one was resent. You should have received statements from 2 candidates so far. The third one will be going out tomorrow. But everybody should have received a statement from Bernadette and Veronica. If you have not, please let the staff know as soon as possible, and we will correct that error. Any questions about nominating elections? It's a non-standing committee. But I will front load it right after the voting items. Or do you want it at the very beginning of committee reports? Where do you want this?
I think where it is fine.
Where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeremy, I just have a concern. The
Yeah.
voting then will take place very late next month, and it's going to be a long meeting. Maybe we should have the voting earlier in case there has to be a runoff.
So why don't we put it at the top of the committee report list? That should be early enough that we handle the other business. You guys vote while we're conducting business. And then before old business, we should have the results.
Yeah, and then if there's a runoff, then we vote then again.
Is that okay, Al? Veronica?
Yeah, that's fine. You can move it.
Yeah, it makes sense to do it earlier and then at the very end. Then we'll be there till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
I hope not.
Hopefully not.
Open doors going up stuff.
I know some people have their hands up. I don't know if I want to keep continuing to call on those people who aren't members of the committee. Hazel, you have your hand up?
Yeah. I just want, I'm sorry that Ken left and I should have grabbed him, but I wanted to know if, because Ted Weinstein from HPD wanted to make a presentation and he wanted to present to housing and land use at the same time. I had sent Kent an email, but I never heard back from him because I would really like Ted to come to housing's February meeting. So I don't know if land use wants to join us.
I think it's great. It's a good idea. I'll talk to Ken, Hazel.
Okay, great. Thank you, Oral.
You got it.
Okay, so any other committees, anything to report? I think sanitation, Roger, are you in? I think you
Yeah.
guys want to have a public hearing next month, right?
Well, we still haven't received back information from the Department of Sanitation as far as what the protocol was for it. When we were in that meeting, they said that the protocol for either adding or reducing was mostly the same, except there was a 2-year wait for reducing.
Okay.
But I never received any further email from sanitation as far as what that protocol is and
Hold on 1
timelines.
second, please. Hold on. Sandy, can you mute yourself? Something's coming in over your phone. I'm sorry, Roger. Go ahead.
All right, so we have to follow up on that. I think I already said we had to follow up on, I don't remember, but we'll follow up on that in terms of, and then we want to schedule a public hearing, or what do you want to do?
Well, we'd have to hear back from them first as far as like there may be timelines that they require that we
Okay,
have
all right.
to comply with that.
So let's touch base tomorrow.
Okay.
If you don't, if we'll do our best to follow up tomorrow, check in with us,
Okay.
in case we get busy with other stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
Understood. Thank you.
And then transportation committee, Chris, this is under old business as well. We have on the leadership committee agenda. Rabbi came by the office today. I also had DOT commissioner call me prior to that. And so luckily he came by, I was able to put him on the phone. There, let me stop sharing this. The White Plains Road parking proposal. We had a public hearing on this in November. I was starting to look at how many people signed in for that meeting, but I didn't finish tallying, but for that public hearing, there was an unusual amount of people, for typically a hearing of ours. Hold on, trying to pull something up while I talk.
Oh. Do we want to call on people who aren't part of the leadership committee, if they're on the board? Some of them have their hands raised.
Only, this attorney guy was, I should.
Okay.
All right, let me. So it's the White Plains Road Municipal Parking Lot reconfiguration. I share that there is a presentation. It's linked to. Everybody can see this. This is linked on our website. DOT wants to know where we stand on the matter. I think, Chris, you said members of the public were supposed to email us about this.
That's true. We're expecting emails, concerns from the community. We were promised that they're going to send us emails with the concerns so we can forward it to DOT.
Okay. So I guess we'll wait for that. Or do we, I don't know if anybody remembers.
I'll urge board members to look into it. I mean, because it's going to affect them one way or another way.
Right. So
downstairs from my house.
Yeah. So all right. So
Guessing.
I guess I'll email the board. Weather issue. All right. Any other full board agenda items?
Some information
About what?
about.
It's about the MTA, about when we got the briefing when it comes to about the Metro North train station, so on and so forth. A lot of issues arose, especially about parking in the so-called future stations, especially the one in Morris Park. The lack of parking over there, that was the biggest concern that came up at transportation. So that's going to be another issue that's going to be brought up.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's not a new issue. Unless anybody wants to discuss that. Al, Veronica, do you have anything else for the full board agenda?
I don't have anything. Do you have anything else to be added to the full board agenda?
No, the only thing is, I don't know if there's anybody there from transportation, anybody, chairman from the transportation there?
Rabbi should be here tonight. He said he was going to dial in when he left the office earlier.
I don't see him in yet, though.
Yeah, he maybe forgot, or maybe, I don't know. He got busy. I don't know. What,
I don't know
what
if it-
question do you have for him? Al?
Hopefully get Debbie to make a report on transportation because she's on the committee, but she's
Oh,
not.
yeah. Go ahead, Debbie.
Yeah, because I was in that meeting and a lot of people brought many issues about that parking redesign and whatnot for the White Plains. There was many issues brought forth, especially with the farmers market. And also a lot of people were having issues of what's now free parking. The city wants it to be paid parking. So a lot of people were upset with that. So they did not want to be changing the parking from what it is already.
Thanks, Debbie.
Okay, so any comments, questions by anybody about that?
Quickly,
or-
just because
I have
it's
a question. Oh, sorry.
oh, sorry.
Well, hold on. So I think Al said we're staying just with the committee members for now.
Okay.
Naomi?
Only committee members until you go into the gallery session.
Oh, okay.
So Naomi, you're on the
I-
committee.
Okay. So my question is, if they are against it, did they explain or provide why? Like, does it cause a problem? Does it cause, parking spaces are removed? Like, I just want to understand.
So basically what they're saying is that there is a farmer's market that's held there. And I think it may,
In a free parking lot.
in the free parking lot. So now the farmer's market may not be able to remain there. Also, people park there for free and they're going to start charging for the parking now. So people who have been utilizing it may not be able to utilize it going forward because they have to pay for it. So those are concerns that they've had.
Especially with that lot being close to 105.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else from the committee? Okay. So I make a motion that we accept the full board agenda as changed. Do I have a second? Al seconds it. Any discussion? Any objections? Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Thank you. What's
Okay,
next?
so
The calendar is next. Do you want to do the calendar first?
On calendar, is it, does he have it up there?
Yeah, he's gonna put up the calendar.
yeah, I'll do it right now. Hold on. We just save this. Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so Bernadette said it, the first is good. I think she told me that earlier. It's gonna be a fully remote meeting. 6:30 housing, Hazel. Is that good? Fully remote?
Yeah, that's good.
Do we want to try to have land use with that meeting?
Yes,
Or you'll talk to Ken about 6:30 on Thursday, the 2nd?
6:30 on Thursday, February 2nd.
Yeah, Hazel normally does fully remote meetings.
Okay, great.
So
So
if
I
that
will
works.
talk to Ken because I think it's a great idea for us to be there, Hazel.
yeah, so do I.
And yeah, I think it's good because we have a very close connection with housing and zoning and code and things like that. So it's good.
Yeah, that's what he's gonna talk about, all that good stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense that the land use are part of that. It makes sense.
Great. Malcolm, are you good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right. Transportation, we're already setting something up, I think, for the 6th. Also, the rabbi asked me to have somebody come and talk about the parking app. I don't know if you know, some people can use an app to pay for parking versus the meter. 7 o'clock, Roger, you want a meeting? Or you're not sure yet?
I would keep it on there for now. I do have off. I requested off for that day, so I have the availability. If however
My advice though is that unless you know this goes for every committee, unless you know you want to have a meeting, it's easier to keep it off and then put it on. Or I mean, it's easier to put it on later than take it off later.
Right.
Jeremy, you're gonna change it to housing and land use, right? For the 2nd.
Yeah.
Now I think just change it for now, and if it doesn't work out, but I doubt it won't work out. Right, you can a combined thing. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
I think
Thank you
you
all.
only have
That's
2
a great
minutes.
idea. Thank you.
Okay, so what do you want me to do, Roger? Do you want me to keep it on or take it off?
Keep it on for now. I'll reach out to the rest of the board members because yeah, I think we gotta if we want to have that public hearing, we got to get things moving.
Yeah. Okay. Parks and Rec, Lisa's not able to come tonight, but she said that's good. Health and Social Services, Sandy.
Yes, I got a confirmation from the speaker.
Okay.
So we're
And
on.
that is, you want to just announce that real quick, just for everybody who knows, or no?
You can renounce it.
I think he's a recruiter for the Army or something like that.
Yeah, but it's more than that. The way I read what he emailed you, so I think it could be more of a community or social service.
Okay. So the 15th, Joe, let me try to arrange for Orange Bank, see if they can come on the 15th with their request. They couldn't make it obviously yesterday. Is that okay with you, Joe? Okay. And then we'll maybe have liquor licenses in the meantime. Executive board, I don't know. I know there's one person that might be, we have to look at attendance again, but I can take it off for now, Al, unless you know you want one.
Yeah, take it off for now. We don't, if we need it, we'll put it before leadership next to the end of the month.
Yeah, well, ideally we'll have a different chair at that point anyway, right? I mean, no offense to you.
No.
I'm just gonna take it off. All right. Leadership, you will still be in charge of that committee, Al. So the 16th should be good for you, right?
Yep.
Public safety, Veronica.
I'm sorry, Jeremy. Can you just I see that you have the 8th open. Can you just keep that in mind for the ethics committee meeting?
Yeah, let me do a placeholder now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have to publish the calendar right away,
Okay.
so I can wait. Disciplinary, I think I spelled that right. What time?
I'm gonna say 7.
Okay. So I do have, until I do hold off on publishing it because again, it's easier. Things happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So let me know as soon as possible.
No problem.
Public safety, full board, 23rd. Right now, the state of emergency is up till February 15th. If you're going to meet remotely, fully, I think Sandy, that's what you're going to do, right? I think Hazel,
Yes,
it sounds
it's
like
going to be fully
in oral,
remote.
that's what you're doing.
Second, what we need.
If anybody's not going to meet remotely, I think public safety generally meets in person. I don't remember about transportation. Let me know sooner or later too, please.
Jeremy, our committee is not on the calendar.
Yeah, so
Serena.
pick a consistent date yet or no?
No, I want to say it's going to be the last week of the month since most of our meetings started at the last week of the month. And so to give it like a full 3.5, 4 weeks. I also emailed you about the public hearing on February 28th because we're due a public hearing based on the preliminary budget. So
Yeah.
would that constitute a committee meeting or not, or
No, but that's, I mean, you
so
don't
we can do
have
the
to have a committee
27th.
meeting every month.
Okay, so if we had the public hearing, we do not have to have a committee meeting.
Yeah, I mean, unless you know you need or want to have a meeting for any committee, don't schedule it. So public hearing, we'll schedule that for the 28th. What time?
7:30. Is that good for you, Malcolm?
Sorry, yeah, that works for me.
And
Actually,
so
the public
ideally,
hearing,
just to jump in, really, ideally, we wouldn't have a meeting unless it was necessary, but the plan is to have monthly meetings. I know that's not historically what happened, but that's something that we as a committee would like to start doing, so that you know.
okay.
And Jeremy, if the emergency order from the mayor doesn't go through, again, doesn't get extended, that would mean that board members have to come in person for the committee meetings, right?
With the exception of, as long as you have a quorum in person, there you can have everybody else join remotely.
Okay.
So like if you have a committee of 3, you have to have 2 people in person, 1 person can join remotely. Or if you have a committee of 5, the majority. Quorum means majority.
Okay, well, we'll address that, I guess, if it doesn't get extended, because I think it's gonna be hard to figure out who's gonna be remote and who's gonna be in person if it's not extended, so that's something we'll have to think about.
Yeah. Okay, any other calendar items? I can save this, close it for now. I just gotta change the date. And then I think we run into the gallery or old business.
Yeah, the gallery's next. Do we
Okay.
need to vote on the calendar or no?
Why don't we hear we had this issue not too long ago with this committee. Why don't we wait to hear from the public before we vote on anything?
Okay.
Right, but it's ultimately up to you, the committee, yeah? So
We
you,
can do the gallery session.
so oral, do you remember, are we doing 2 minutes or are we keeping a time limit? I know we talked about that.
We're gonna do 2 minutes. It's getting late.
Oh.
It's getting late early.
Yep. Okay, so anybody from the public would like to speak tonight?
Board members should go first.
No, are there any board
Well,
members
hold on.
not
There,
part of the
there were
committee?
people who had hands were up before Miguel. I saw Christine. Her hand was up. Christine, would you want to say anything?
Yeah, Jeremy, talking about, the elections, is there going to be a format where, board members are going to be able to question the candidates?
That's a really good question. That came up recently, actually. That came up, I think I was going to bring it to somebody's attention. The bylaws committee, actually, David Levitt brought that up. So I don't know if there's a plan for that, like historically. So we do put out the statements, but historically we allow questions of the candidates. I mean, that's the last, 4-way election we had was 2012, to my knowledge. Al, Veronica, or the committee, members of the committee, I think Serena and Debbie, you're members of the committee.
I think if you did
I
that
think
now,
it's a great idea.
I think it's a good idea. The only problem is time constraints. You'll be here until 12 o'clock.
Oh, if you want to, we can limit it, just like here.
If you're
Is
gonna
there a
have
way to limit it instead
board
of 2
members-
minutes to 1 minute?
You could,
Board members are gonna have the opportunity to question, unless what they do is they present a number of questions and you pick 3 out of a
Oh.
hat or something like that and ask the same question to all of the candidates. Otherwise, I think we'll be here till midnight.
I have a proposal. Why don't we just do what we do with the gallery? Give the candidate 2 minutes to make any statement if they want it. Well, they shouldn't have to. They already did a written statement, but 4 questions per board member, and then that's it. No more than 4.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea,
That
Jeremy.
Yeah, that works.
I agree with that.
Okay, Jeremy, you're good.
Okay. And we will, how about, let's just, one more caveat. Only since, so as of right now, we know there are 4 candidates. Well, only 3 are currently going to be on the ballot. But there are 4 candidates regardless, so we can ask 4 candidates questions if they're present. So 4 times 4 is 16. 1 question per board member, and no repeats. So if Al asks a question of Veronica, Hazel, whomever, that's it. No more questions from Al. Then we take another question from another board member, and then that's it. No more questions from that board member. Is that fair?
Yes.
Same
Yes.
question the same question has to be given to all the candidates. It wouldn't be fair to give different questions. Everyone should get the same opportunity to answer the same question.
Yeah,
a good
that
idea,
makes
too.
sense. That's fair.
Yes.
So
Can I-
that
I'm
means
sorry, can I just make a recommendation? Is there any way, do you think that we can maybe have people register if they want to ask a question? Or if they want to be available to ask a question? Because maybe people don't want to ask anything. Maybe there's only certain people that want to ask a question.
If you don't want to ask, you don't raise, you don't.
Right,
just
but
the
I'm
board
just saying,
members,
just to
right?
make it more organized, I'm just saying,
But
because
to
you're
be-
gonna have a whole bunch of
Or-
people raising their hands and trying to figure out who to.
okay, hold on. So with the statements, or at least I think some of the statements, they said contact me at any time. So so they can be contacted anytime between now and the election. 1,
Right.
2. I think Al, you great point, but that means that if we do same 4 questions for all 4 candidates, that means there's only 4 questions. No more than 4 questions total.
Or can we ask the full board, maybe if everyone wants to submit a question and then we can just narrow down the questions? So that, and then it's not about just contacting them directly, it's about, making sure that everyone understands the questions that are being asked and answered in public.
That's a possibility, Jeremy. If you put it out, anybody who wants to ask this question, send it in and then pick. If there's too many questions, just pick 4 of them out of a hat. And if they're the same type of question, you can, truncate them until, to answer to one question would answer 4 or 5 different people might have the same type of question. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I could have a deadline for questions, and I compile them all, unless they're really inane or inappropriate, and just send them to the candidate. And if they don't respond, then I guess you'll know what whoever asked the question will say so at the next board meeting or before
Well-
the election.
The questions, once we have the 4 questions that are chosen, you can ask the 4 questions of the candidates, giving each one, in other words, Veronica would go first, and Hazel would go second, Rich would go third, like that. So this way they'd each have a chance to go first, second, So now no one would get the first question and, so
Yeah, so
everybody-
Like a town hall meeting.
Yeah, or like a debate, right? So like, the
Yeah.
moderator has all the questions already. And
And
then
he has,
they
he has the
just,
4 candidates, each candidate from 1 question.
yeah.
I have a question. Are you going to give the candidate a time limit to answer the question?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
How long?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
3 minutes?
I
No,
guess we'll
2
say within
minutes.
the 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
That's
Well,
plenty-
hold on.
2 minutes
So
is plenty of time.
So how about, hold on, I have an idea. Since we're doing surveys already, why don't I give a deadline for you to submit questions to me? We could say Monday at 9 a.m. And then I put them all into a a Google form, which you can select. You can vote on your top 4 questions. And that
Okay.
way, those are the 4 questions then.
Okay.
All
Does
right,
that-
that's
Al, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it's gonna be, all right. It's just a lot of people are gonna,
They need to check their emails.
I need to check the bylaws.
yeah.
Yeah, bylaws say nothing about this.
right.
You know, I don't see a problem.
Can we
I
have one question that is not, and I don't know, and you know, because I don't know, but can we at least have one question that at least, so we have 4 questions we know we're gonna ask, but one question that we know we're not, that not neither of the candidates know that we're gonna ask, so that we could have an unprepared answer off the top of, you know, I don't know. I just think that
Oh, you want to catch them off guard, huh, Serena?
no, not necessarily, but you know, I don't
Okay,
know,
hold on. So Serena's on the committee, Debbie's on the committee. I mean, I don't know if we can trust the committee to not go to any of the candidates, but I can compile the list of questions.
course.
I can compile the list of questions. We give them to the committee, and the committee asks them one by one.
Guys, this is not New York Times talking toward the presidential of United States.
This is CB11.
Come on, don't make it a big deal. Just give them
Hello.
4 questions.
It is a big deal.
No, we're
It
just
is a big deal.
Chris.
Talk over each other, please.
A committee was chosen. We'll give the questions to the committee. The committee will truncate the questions to get as many questions into one question as possible. And they would, you know, they'd be under the vow of secrecy, in other words. And then those questions will be asked that night to the candidates, and it will be done in random order. They, you know, pick a number out of a hat. You go first, you go second, you go third, that type of thing.
Perfect.
So everybody gets a question. Everybody gets a fresh question, the first question. The questions are hopefully concise enough so that 3 or 4 people may be asking the same type of question. That question will be truncated so that it would fit all those categories of the 3 or 4 people that sent it in. And that's the way they'll be asked. This way it's done. The committee's in charge, and you know, it's taken care of. Otherwise, we're going through your emails back and forth. Who's this? Who's that? You know, we chose a committee. Let them do their job. True.
Okay.
So we'll have them submit questions to the committee, and the committee will compile them. Long story short, right?
Yes.
That's it.
Perfect. Is that okay, Christine? Because that was your question, right?
Yeah, it sounds about fair. Thank you.
All right. And then Miguel had his hand raised.
I did. I was just wondering about. I know that there's a lot of people on both sides of this issue, but as far as like in-person meetings and in person in the office, what are we doing with that? Because I know I brought that up last time and I didn't hear anything back about it.
Yeah, no, that's under old business. So yeah, we can talk about that now. You're talking about remote work for staff or teleworking?
Indeed.
Okay, so one thing that Al and I talked about earlier today, because I, told him what's on the agenda or reminded him what we have to discuss. We have to discuss actually the Facebook group too. I forgot that should be a motion at the end. So teleworking, currently we have 1 staffer in the office a day. That's.
Why does it feel like 8 o'clock in the evening right now for me?
What's that? What's that?
No. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Sorry. Go keep going, Jeremy.
So, Miguel, you.
It's actually 8:22 oral.
So the board voted. The board voted last month. The board voted last month to change the staff schedule.
Right, but I think
starting February.
At the last, I don't know if it was leadership or full board, but I felt like we were going to revisit it because I brought it up, and I don't feel like it has been.
Yeah, no, and we talked about revisiting here, so that's why. Yeah, it's on the agenda. So the staff, or so the full board, it was a full board vote February 1st. It was discussed in leadership. The vote in leadership was actually a little bit more confusing. It was, we're supposed to be in the office 3 days a week, but no more than, I forget, but no more than 2 people in the office. So
Right.
that doesn't work if you have to be in 3 days a week, because I'm not going in on Saturday anymore.
At
Yeah,
least,
I mean, what's that, Al?
at least 2 people. I think the next chair would make that decision. Whether it be 2 days or 3, but I think, again, I think the motion was at least two people in each day.
Except Friday.
Except Friday.
there only
We,
needs
we,
to
did- we
be
did
one,
say
and that could
except
rotate.
Friday
Okay.
to
Yeah.
come to even it out. We said except Friday. I remember.
Okay, so,
The next chair to make that decision. I don't want to make it for, for the next chair or something.
well, in the meantime, the board did vote for February 1st for the other more confusing motion. So do you want to just bring it up at the full board meeting and we vote again, or do you want to hash out a motion now, or?
I think the motion we made at the full board meeting.
Fans. So
Yeah, that's, it's not what you just said though, Al.
Because the full board meeting, the full board's gonna have to vote on it. We discussed that 2 people would have to be in the office each day. At least 2 people have to be in the office.
Not each day, though. On Friday,
Except Friday.
it could be one person, and that could be rotating so that everybody has a chance on Fridays, because we don't want someone to be in the office 3 days. And Fridays, I think, Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong, it was at least one person in the office, or nobody has to be in the office?
No, we have 1 person a day.
Right, okay. And that would be on a
Right.
rotating basis, not the same person would be there on Friday.
The exception was, I think, Christmas Eve. I asked Harriet to ask Al if he was okay with her staying at home that day, but other than exceptions like that, it's, yeah, we're every day.
I really only had this question for, for the sense of like personal health. Okay.
All right, so Al, so do you want to make a motion now, because to clarify, because it wasn't clear before?
All right,
that-
I'll make a motion that, that the staff, 2 members of the staff must be present each day, except Friday, where 1 person must be, in attendance.
I'll second.
Second by Joe. Anybody
Starting
opposed?
February 1st, right?
Yes. Anybody opposed?
Starting February 1st, that Monday through Thursday, 2
At
people
least
have to be
2.
in the office. At
Right.
least 2 in the office Monday through Thursday.
Right. and
With
one on
Friday being the exception where 1 person can be in the office on a
Correct.
rotating basis.
Correct. Are there any abstentions? Carries
So
unanimously.
Al,
I'm sorry, can you just repeat that? I'm sorry. I was trying to understand.
Aaron, you did a great job.
Oh my goodness. All right. Okay. Listen. Okay. I'll go as slowly as I can. Okay.
I mean, it is 8 o'clock. Oro, so
It
come on.
is. I know. I'm tired too, but that's why I don't want to repeat it. But Monday through Thursday, at least 2 people must be in the office with
Okay.
and Friday being the exception that 1 person can be in the office on a rotating basis with the other members of the staff.
I'm proud of you, Oral.
You got it.
Thank you. Thank you. I understand now. Thank you.
Okay.
So and just to clarify, that means 9 to 5. And why 2 people? Because say I want to go out to eat, I got to meet with the BP or whatever, at least, 1 person's still there.
Got you, Jeremy. Okay, we got it, Jeremy.
And then just to be fair, Al, I'm sorry, I know you don't like long meetings. I want to can we open it to the floor for Harriet and Chris if they want to say anything? I don't think they do, but because this was regarding them, I want to consider their concerns or needs. Harriet, Chris, do you have anything?
No, since it's the board that decides on everything, it's nothing we can say about it.
I agree with
Good.
Chris. I mean, you
Right.
can still voice your opinion because we haven't done abstentions yet for the vote. So if you want to voice any concerns about it, now's the time to do so.
As per union, we have to work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, 35 hours.
In the office or
So-
not in the
so-
office?
Doesn't matter right now. Right now, the union is trying to negotiate a contract for teleworking.
Okay,
Right.
gotcha.
Because
Okay,
because we are,
understood.
so just so everybody's clear, we're independent of the mayor, and we do not work for the mayor, and he's has issues with teleworking.
Right,
whatever.
right. The MTA has it that way because with the MTA, Fridays are off. They're off
Yeah.
on Fridays.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not. So whatever. Yeah. So okay.
Just for
All right,
clarification, this was brought to Yahe's attention by the BP's office back in September, that they wanted to start getting people back into the office. That's how this all came about. So that's why we're
But-
voting on. We wanted to be
but that-
fair, to make sure that we don't want them to be in the office 5 days a week unless it's mandatory. So this was kind of a compromise that we were trying to do with them, that we
Correct.
had discussed.
The two caveats to that is that was September. That was the rhetoric then, before winter hit. And when I spoke to the BP, when I met with her one-on-one like Yahe, in December, this did not come up at all. And she said what she had to say, and she gave me ample opportunity to say what I needed or wanted to say. And then the only other caveat, and I forgot what I was going to say, so I will remember it and bring it back up later. But it was something to the end of what you were saying, Veronica.
Okay, so
About
Al, do you want to reach out to the VP's office and ask them about this, if it's still their want to
Yep,
have the
absolutely.
people back in the office? Because then if they turn around and say no, they've changed their decision, then we don't have to worry about the staff going into the office. But if they still
I'll-
want that, then we can vote on this at the full board meeting. Does that make sense?
yeah, and then they were also off and or working remotely fully during the Christmas holiday. So
Yeah, the
something else
motion
we can do.
stands as is unless, and then I'll bring up the caveat if the borough president's office tells me that it's okay to stay home. And then we'll have
thank
the
you.
board, then the board will make that decision whether they can allow people to stay home or not.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Now can we get
Okay,
to the
so-
other section?
yeah,
So
we're still
anybody
going.
else on the board that wasn't part of the committee that has anything for the committee at the moment?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we're gonna go into gallery session now. So, Bob, you had spoken first?
Right.
Okay, Bob, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, let me just tell you about Juten Horstman. He was with the Department of City Planning. He was one of my teachers when I was on Community Board 8. So he said some of what I wanted to say about the clock, that you're already past your deadline. Borough President's having her hearing on the 26th on the Boston Road site. Now, all you're talking about on this Boston Road site is AMI. You still do not know how many studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, or whatever size apartments there are. You still don't know how much square foot each apartment will be. You still don't know where the equipment and other materials will be stored, what streets will be closed, when and how they will be closed, or for how long. You don't know where the concrete trucks will be cleaned, since it is illegal to do it in the street because the debris will clog up the sewer system. There is a lot that you need to know about that building, and there's even more, okay, which you're not going to hear because all you're concerned about is AMI. All right, this is what I've learned from Juten and from my community board. Second, the fact that the February 22 Housing Committee meetings has me as the consultant to the Housing Committee. Then there are several meetings where the minutes are missing. The next minutes that are available from the Housing Committee is September 2022, which is the new fiscal year, which also has me listed as a Housing
30
Committee.
seconds.
At the January Housing Committee meeting, the district manager said I was not on the committee. I don't know when I was voted off as the consultant of the Housing Committee meeting. and I will then send the bill for my consulting to the board. That's it.
Thank you, Bob.
Dean Francis?
Jeremy, is,
Oh, Jeremy, do you have something to say to Bob?
No, I was just gonna say, if anybody wants, Al, if you or you want me to address any of that, we will go on to, I guess, you said Gene is next, raise his hand.
How can we vote him off and never vote him on?
I left that up to the chairman of the committee the last time, and I feel that was, that's fair. The chairman of the committee wants a consultant, that's fine.
my time
Right.
consulted,
All right,
that's
that's fine.
fine. Okay. So I'll
Well,
stop
and,
my
and
time.
just so everybody's clear, the committee, I don't think they made the committee chair is leaving up to the committee, and I don't know if the decision's been made on that. I guess that's an agenda item for next month, or you already discussed that. I don't know. Hazel.
Yeah, and for Bob.
Committee, come up with-
Hi.
Okay, so Hazel, go ahead.
So I've been getting misinformation then, because first they said it was up to me, and I said okay. Then they said it had to be in writing. So I need clarification. I don't have a problem with Bob being a community member of my committee.
He's an ad hoc member, he can't vote, he's basically
No,
there. to
I
give you-
understand that. I said a community member. I
Right.
think, isn't that what they call them, community members?
Community committee member. So our bylaws allow for it. It's anybody that's appointed to committee is at the behest of the chairperson. Al's deferring to Hazel. Hazel, you were deferring to your committee, but what do you want to do?
Can we
So
just look
Hazel
at
asking
as a
for
committee?
clarification as to whether or not it's up to her to appoint Bob as a community member to her committee, or does she need a letter from, where was it, Hazel, that you were told you need the letter from?
I have no idea. I thought first they said that Bob needed to put it in writing,
It was.
and then it was
Where?
supposed to
Done.
come, I'm sorry, Bob, it was supposed to come to the committee, and we were supposed to discuss it and whatever. I never got a copy of the letter. But as I was saying, I don't have a problem with him being a community member of my committee. When he comes to my meeting, he always brings information that we can all, that we all appreciate. So once I get clarification, then I will make a decision. But as for now, I have no idea what's going on. So.
Hey, I mean, as a member of that committee, is that something we could discuss as a committee?
Yeah.
All right, because
The committee can decide. It's the chair of the board and the chair of the committee.
I think that we should be more transparent. Like, I definitely agree with Hazel about it being miscommunication there. That needs to stop. But before, appointing anybody as anything, I definitely would love to have, some communication.
The violation of the bylaws.
Hold on, Bob. Hold on. I have something to say.
As long, and this goes for any committee, if you can get someone who's an expert in a certain field to join your committee as a committee member, that only enhances your committee.
I mean, I get that, but I am a licensed real estate agent, right? So I don't particularly
Not a
see,
debate.
I don't particularly see Rob as an expert.
Malcolm, Al is speaking. Please wait till he's finished.
Again, it's up to the committee and the committee head to make that decision. The chairman of that committee will make that decision, and that's what I felt. For me to make that decision to put somebody on your committee that you may not get along with, you may not like, it's not up to me. You have to live with them on your committee. And as long as and that goes to any committee chair, if there's somebody you feel is going to help and be beneficial to your committee, why not use the person's information and their expertise?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. If he's an expert in housing, he's not. You know what I mean?
Hold on, Malcolm, hold on. Let me just make this simple for everybody. Christine, just 1 second, please. Al is acting chairman. Okay, he was chairman. long story short, we have a new chairperson coming in, right? Ideally, why don't we just leave it up to that person to decide, right?
Oh,
I mean, it is the authority of the chairperson to decide this. Whether maybe they don't want to defer to Hazel. You know what I mean?
Jeremy, can I add something to that? Since
And
you
it's-
mentioned about compensation, can it be everything written? Meaning in points, what exactly consists of? What are the duties of this person, whoever and whatever the title might be? And emphasize the part that, whatever the job's gonna be done is gonna be volunteered like the rest of the board members? Because, I'm sorry, Bob, you just mentioned compensation before.
The compensation, that's the problem,
Okay,
yeah.
make it clear, ladies and gentlemen, so you don't get to screw up things later on.
Christine,
You have your hand up?
Hi, yes, I had my hand up.
Can I just clarify something? I'm not saying that Bob is an expert in housing. He does have knowledge, and whenever I have asked him to look up information for me that I don't know, which is not a lot because I do know a lot about housing, but he does come through for me. That's just what I'm saying. I don't have a problem with Bob, and but Malcolm, you're absolutely correct. We will discuss this in committee. Thank you.
Christine?
Yes, I just wanted to reiterate like what the process was for putting somebody on as a community member onto any of these committees, right? Just to make sure that we are technically following the rules for doing that. And I guess we will discuss that in the housing committee meeting, Hazel, amongst the members, correct? Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, we will.
So I think that basically, when you discuss it in the housing meeting, whatever your decision is, you can discuss it with the new chair and come to a final determination. And then at that point, it'll be finalized and you don't have to worry about revisiting it again after that.
Okay. So, and Bob raised some
Thank
good
you.
questions about about the issues that we need to address as we look at land use for new buildings. And Bob, I've discussed these things during the meetings, AMI, parking, school inadequacies in the neighborhood, services to meet the new building, public safety with police, site logistics, access, street closing, alternate routes, and the size of units and the type of units. Those issues did come up, and some of the my questions were answered, some were not. But it's not like we're not asking these questions. We are. That's all.
And can I answer them? It wasn't brought up at the public hearing, though.
Okay. You want to go on to the next one?
Yeah, Gene DeFrancis?
Thank you. In regards to the vote regarding in person or out of person, I'd like to recommend as a community member that we put the cause. I'm hearing a lot of personal health concerns being the cause why they don't want to attend board meetings, but I'm seeing a couple of your board members attending parties, functions, traveling on airlines. That's an ethical problem. If you don't want to show up to the community board meetings, then say it. If you have family issues, you could get excused. If you're working late, we're all human beings and most of us are very busy. But if you're going to try to, in our face, say that you're concerned for your health and then you're attending large parties and traveling in crowds, just be above board on it. Don't use this as a reason to work from home in your pajamas. And I'm not accusing anybody of doing that. I'm just going forward and getting ahead of that before it becomes an issue. In the foreseeable that this hybrid or remote goes on for another year or two. I think when you were in person, there was more humanity to the meetings. You guys were talking, treating each other like human beings, not like robots. And because I think you guys get a little bit brave behind the computer. Regarding that, I think several of your new board members need to attend an orientation because it's apparent that they have it, and they should be mandated. All board members should be mandated to read the bylaws. as one of the community members just stated, he's threatening a lawsuit. That's a serious matter when that's in a live
30
open
seconds.
recorded meeting. So you got to take this a little bit more seriously. You can't slander community residents online or in person. These are serious offenses. So I hear you want to challenge the chairman and hold them to a higher standard. That goes for all board members going forward. So thank you for the time, and see you in person next month.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody, Diana, do you want to?
Yes.
Oh, Kevin, has something to say? Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Kevin DeLoya, and what I got to speak about is not something for the whole board. It's probably not something for most people on this call, but I felt that the leadership would be a place to bring this up. It's going to be kind of weird because I'm going to be speaking on behalf of Mr. Anonymous, and you can read that however board members from leadership here can read that as you might. But it has to do with a Ethics and Disciplinary Committee complaint form filed on 10/30/22 via email to the board and then sent via UPS mail a couple of days later. The attention of the Councilwoman Marjorie Velasquez, Thomas Lucania, Director of Community Boards, Eric Spencer, Unit in Legislative Affairs, Director of Policy, Justin Cortez, Cortez, Chief of Staff in the Borough President's Office, as well as Jeremy in this office. This person, this Mr. Anonymous, has not received any follow-up or case number. As you said, as Naomi, who I understand now is the new chair for the Ethics Committee, said she sent them out this week. I know this person has not received that. Actually, if this meeting wasn't as broad as it is, the following would have been said as well. In the discussion with board members, I wish this person wishes to remain anonymous and use the case number until further action is required, and then with his permission at that time. And before proceeding, although I'm going to proceed for him right now, keep in mind that two of the members noted on that complaint as complaint against or who was involved on the form are on the leadership committee. One is the chair of housing and the other is the current vice chair, former chair of the board, and acting CB board chair and chairperson for this leadership committee. It really should be excluded or abstained as a conflict of interest from this conversation when this conversation happens, and certain information to both parties have been consulted. I'm not sure the ethics committee review process. I understand you're going to change it a little bit. Discussions on these matters require disciplinary actions or not, except that it's noted in the cover letter to the complaint form. But I am not so sure that these two individuals should be participating or being part of any discussions dealing with this complaint at any public meetings or chairing their housing committee or their leadership committees meetings until this is brought up and reviewed for potential presentation to the borough president's office. Have you seen in print, video, and social media, word of mouth, and with your own eyes and ears? There have been many comments related to the conduct of the public. But here, the issue is not the public. It's how the organizers and those running the hearing from the gallery who were on CB11 board neglected to control the hearing. The very first thing that was recorded was the code of conduct for the evening. That wasn't followed. Bob was the first person to speak. He spoke for 2.5 minutes. I don't even know if I was to be called that evening to voice my opinion, as other elected residents and non-residents were simply allowed to carry on long past the 2 minutes that most of us would have been allocated to. Which took time and
Are we finished right now, or are we going beyond 2 minutes?
Oh, 2 minutes. Finish up.
2 minutes.
Your 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Your 2 minutes are up.
Yeah,
2 minutes tomorrow.
Minutes are up.
Okay, he said 30 seconds.
No problem. I had a timeline, and I appreciate you.
I had a timeline for everyone. It's very accurate. Your 2 minutes are
1
up.
second, just let me respond to Kevin, because I know the complaint was about me, and it was issued about the meeting at Jacoby Hospital, which I did not attend as any member of the community board. I was there as Morris Park Association. You put in your complaint that it was the chair of the board, and I didn't.
Okay, I think the question was to Naomi.
It's not my meeting.
Hold on, Kevin, let him respond, please, first.
And it was not my meeting. I was there as a resident, just like everyone else, and I made that quite clear.
Al made his point, Naomi. That's
You
something.
want to hear this? You want to hear the arguments?
Right.
But let me also say, how does Al even know about this? If this is something that goes to the ethics committee.
It was a complaint.
Yeah.
So again, I think
No, hold on.
This is
Miguel,
I think
Miguel,
the question
please.
was
Miguel.
going to Naomi, correct?
Miguel.
Yes. But hold on. I have an answer to that probably Naomi doesn't. As far as I know, Mr. Diola did email Mr. D'Angelo.
On an email.
If I did, I'll look back. I apologize.
Yes,
Maybe I
that,
didn't
because I had no intention of telling Mr. D'Angelo. I mean, a board member just texted me. A complaint is filed against me. Yeah, I could not tell you that. I'm sorry. I'm not at this
I
stage.
take a step back and I accept that he had his response to my comments. But again, I don't want to reverb on what he said because that's just his opinion. This was mine. That'll come through Naomi when she decides to get in touch with
I believe,
Mr. Anonymous. Thank you.
Naomi, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you recently sent out email notifications to people who have complained recently.
That's what she
There-
said.
And they had, right.
You send
That
one
is
to
correct.
Mr.
I have a
Anonymous?
log of everyone's complaint and I have sent an email
Okay.
to each individual. So you may want to check your emails or your junk mail if you have made a complaint. And I don't know if Jeremy can assist. I don't know if if your complaint was not submitted.
I did not look and see if I did see your emails, Naomi. I looked at some of them. I did not look at every single one. So I will
Okay.
go see if we missed Kevin here. But hold on.
Wait, let me look because I have it right here. Let me see.
Yeah, look,
Kevin.
while
Kevin
you look,
Diablo. Kevin
Well,
Diablo.
Let's not a problem. I mean, we know who I am and we know that I spoke for Mr. Anonymous. But on the complaint, let's continue with Anonymous until there's a code number.
so hold on, Kevin, hold on.
I just want to say, Kevin, you received an email.
I did? What email?
Yes.
And I'll
Sure.
I'll double check on the spelling.
Yeah, I don't
No,
want to.
Jeremy, wait a minute. Let Naomi's telling him, Jeremy, you have to wait a second, Jeremy. You're
I
going
know,
too
but
fast
I don't think she should publicly advertise his email.
No,
Thank
not
you.
his email, just a date and
Anything.
time. and
Nor
we'll send
the
it to him.
true name of Mr.
Anything.
Anonymous.
I'll
That's
follow
just
up
stay
tomorrow.
anonymous.
Nothing.
You know what?
Anonymous, follow up
Why doesn't she just resend it to him? That's it.
Sure. I'll do that right now.
Right
Start-
now, and it'll be done.
When you're finished, Mr. Anonymous owes me an apology.
I like Sandra's suggestion. No problem.
So
Malcolm, you have your hand up?
no, Veronica, hold on. I want to clarify something. I'm looking at the email right now. I apologize, Kevin. It wasn't. It was a response to an email from you by the borough president's office.
Correct.
That's who CC'd Mr. D'Angelo.
Oh, that was only last week or so.
Yeah,
But
but
okay,
that
if
is
I
to my
continue
knowledge
to-
how he knows about it, because I have not spoken to Al about it.
All right,
Otherwise.
doesn't matter when, but. I
Yep. And
understand.
and sir, you received a case number and an email on January 13th at 4:26 a.m.
Very good. Very good.
I was
Naomi.
also copied on that, so yeah, you got
Very
it.
good. Very good. It's covered. That's it.
We'll follow up on that.
Malcolm, you had another one?
Correct.
You had a
Thank you.
question, Malcolm?
Yeah. I remember we had a conversation probably about 3 meetings ago regarding the table. Only members being at the table. I'm seeing a non-member at the table. Was that rescinded or something?
Who's sitting at the table?
I guess I have to revisit that, Malcolm, because I'm not sure. I remember that too, but I'm not quite sure.
No, yeah, no, I do remember the conversation.
There was somebody sitting
I
among
do
the
too. I do too, but
at the meeting, and there's nobody, the committee people are all here in the front. We let people sit in the back. Sometimes they sit at the table, sometimes they don't. But they're not allowed to sit among the committee members, because the committee members are the ones that are running the meeting, not
okay.
the.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification, Veronica. Bernadette, you had a question too?
No, and I just
Yeah.
clarified.
Oh, okay. It's just a quick question with regards to the Ethics Committee. The issues and the complaints, are they made public to everybody, or are they basically kept within your files until there's resolutions, et cetera? What is protocol?
Correct. So we're keeping it in a log confidential until we share it with the committee, and then we'll vote on it. So we're probably going to do 2 stages. We're going to vote on whether we should be reviewing it at all, and then a second vote. Once we have, because we may need additional information, we may need more more evidence or
Clarification.
anything to help us to clarification. Thank you. To make sure that that we can make a solid decision on whether we should move forward with action.
Okay, so the second part of my question is, if there is a breach of confidentiality, of anything that is not supposed to be public, how are we going to handle that? It's a good question.
I don't know. We don't have anything in the bylaws. I don't know. If it's breached, we would have to take that in.
There's no
as
process. I guess
as
it would go to the chair.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to just address it with the person, or we have to. I mean, there's no other outlet to, if it should not be released, because everyone on the committee knows that the information is confidential. So there should not be any breaches.
If there is a breach, then we can suggest that it be brought up to the VP's office for a resolution if by a board member. Any board member who is giving confidential information should not release that to the public.
Correct.
If it's anonymous, it stays anonymous. We don't release that information. A person is requested to be anonymous, we leave it like that. If there is a breach, then we can make a recommendation that it be brought up to the VP's office. That's my
Right.
suggestion.
And the
Okay,
reason
Yeah,
for
no,
the
that makes sense.
information was
I
made
absolutely
by
agree.
the VP's office. They
Okay.
sent me-
I agree with that. And then,
complaint.
and as you can see, now we have case numbers. So, we will address it via case number. We will not address your
Excellent.
name.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
So,
That's
just so
fantastic.
that you know, Naomi, I will be in touch with you with regards to this.
Okay.
Okay. Well, even further steps can happen if there's a breach, right? Go to the VP and then,
I'm just letting you know there was a breach, so I will be
Okay.
in touch with Naomi.
okay,
Okay.
fantastic.
It's getting
Uh,
late, so let's move on.
And
with the
I know, thank you,
session.
thank you, Veronica. Who's next?
Yeah.
Just one point of order too. The other thing to remember is yes, we want to keep the complaint as anonymous as possible. But also on the form, it asks if you want to remain anonymous. That's something else to keep in mind.
That's fine, Jeremy. Next person?
Diana, go ahead.
Okay. February 8th, by the way, is the BPECA meeting. And I think there was an ethics committee meeting contemplated for that date. I don't know if we avoid the community association meetings or try to. For the 2560 Boston Road, there's a ULURP hearing on Thursday during the day. And I don't understand, like, is the community board supposed to be involved with that hearing? Are they supposed to send representatives? Is the public supposed to go? This is the first time I've been through a ULURP hearing and I don't process and I don't understand a lot of it. Also, there was an environmental review that was completed by the developer. And I asked about it during that hearing that we had and they gave me the link and I went and looked and there was a ton of information way beyond just the environmental review about the scope of the project and the community and the income levels. And I don't know if anyone on the board has seen that really valuable information that the developers submitted. Then on the White Plains Road, the parking lots, the south parking lot is going to transfer from free to permit, but I don't understand if the permits are paid permits or if they are paid. And the concern for the farmers market is that the farmers have to park their trucks during the extent of the farmers market for the whole morning that they're there. And we may have missed the deadline for even applying for the permit. So I don't know what we can do about that, but it's a bit of a crisis because the farmers market was such a valuable addition to the community. And then I also wanted to ask the budget that Serena mentioned, can we see a copy of that or is that what was going to be hyperlinked?
Thank you.
Jeremy mentioned.
Say that again, Diana, real quick.
Hyperlinking the budget that
The budget.
Serena mentioned, the budget paperwork. Are you hyperlinking that to the board agenda?
Yeah, I already did that.
You'll be able to get it there.
I don't know if she was here when we discussed it, and I did it in front of everybody.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Diana.
About the confidentiality of the ethics complaints, it's very confusing to understand what has to be confidential and what doesn't. I studied the Bronx Borough President's website. I studied the complaint form, the bylaws. It's hard to understand. You do not have to pen.
Your 2 minutes. 2 minutes were up already. I made an announcement. It's 2 minutes.
Okay, sorry. Bronx Times asked me to see a copy of my complaint, and I asked the borough president if I could show it to them or not, and they haven't answered me.
Veronica, I need you to help that meeting down there. I'm saying 2 minutes are up.
Okay, no, it's done.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Oral, sometimes we can't hear you. It comes in and out.
Okay, sorry. I'll try.
Say something
I'll try to
again.
talk louder. 2 minutes are
Oral,
up.
can you do me a favor? Can you give a 30-second warning for
I did.
everyone, even if they don't
No,
ask
no,
for it?
no,
Oh,
but-
we didn't get the 30-second.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Everybody remember she was responding to a question of mine. I mean, yeah. I mean,
Jeremy. Okay. Got it. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Anybody
So-
else in the room have
We're good
anything
here.
to say? Okay, so we're gonna move
Yeah, I
on
would like to speak.
to,
Hello?
Hold
I'm waiting
on.
for my turn, Roxanne Delgado.
we were only doing the people in the room at the moment. We're moving over now to the screen. So I'm
Oh,
looking
sorry.
now. That's okay. I think Roxanne, I think you might be the only community board member on WebEx. So go ahead.
Minutes.
I'd like a 30-second warning, please. And first, just 2 minutes to discuss so much I think it's unfair, but regarding nomination, I don't think any board member should be eligible to run for this chair position if they already made publicly announced that they're running for city council. Because if they are running for city council, they will have to step down while they're running because the community board needs to be apolitical. So that should be considered. Second, regarding the Boston Road, I feel it's very shameful how the board did not abide by the Euro clock and allowed it to pass the January 2nd deadline. But with Just Homes, they rushed that hearing when the nothing we've done on Just Homes until the end of the year when the HAC will hold their board meeting either at the end of this year or maybe at the beginning of next year. But nonetheless, I also think that all these questions are easily found in the EAS report. It does have lots of information, but in that EAS report, the developer has different income levels. Then he had different income level in the land use, and then in the public hearing, he admitted that he inadvertently put the wrong numbers. So we have 3 different sets of numbers, but this isn't about AMI. AMI is predetermined by HUD. This is about the percent of AMI. It's not in line. It's not affordable to the community. And if you use the ELA program, which is like a lower 20 to 40%, where it's more in line with the area median income, which is below 50,000. So this is not about AMI. What's AMI? You can change AMI, but you just put a different percentile. You lower the percentile, so it's a smaller piece of the pie. And I would like to say, this manager is not responding to my email. I need someone to put this on leadership agenda next month with a new chair. He refuses to answer my email, and then he tells everybody, "Oh, I can't do my job because she sent the email." So this has to be really addressed. I don't want to address it tonight because I waited 2 hours to speak. But it really needs to be addressed on how he's not being professional. He's blatantly ignoring my emails. His other staff members are professional. He needs to be a leader and be professional himself and answer my emails when I ask him about 2560 Boston Road. He ignores it. And believe me, if the community board continues to refuse to address it, it's going to go above your head. You're not going to like what's going to happen to the community board 11, the reputation you're getting by being
Roxanne.
unprofessional, discriminatory, and retaliatory. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else on WebEx that
Veronica,
I may have? Go ahead,
Veronica,
yeah, Jeremy.
just for the record, I mean, Chris Harriet is my witness. I did email Ms. Delgado yesterday thanking her for a correction that was needed for the Economic Development Committee meeting agenda. Am I
More
wrong?
than 10 emails, but this should be addressed in a hearing where I can show the evidence instead of going back and
Can I
forth with
finish?
him.
Can I finish,
It's
please? Can I
inaccurate.
finish?
He likes to put inaccurate.
Excuse
after
me,
I
can I
speak.
finish,
So
please?
let's put end to this and call the meeting to an
This is
end.
not
Thank
right,
you.
please.
Just let him respond and then you can respond afterwards again.
So, Chris and Harriet, did I not respond regarding the Economic Development Committee meeting agenda to her email, thanking her?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's it for me.
responded. Other 5 emails, about 25, 60, he ignored it. And it was addressed directly to him, and he ignored it. And I had to send it to BP to let him know. And that's not the only email. And then he tells everybody, oh, she sends me emails. This is why I cannot do work. So I'm hearing people in the public say, oh, Roxanne harassing DM, sending him all emails. That's why he can't get anything done. I said, how could he get anything get done when he's not even answering my emails? So what is he saying? You can't play both sides. But this needs to be addressed by a new chair. And because I'm not threatening you, but believe me, I have ways of getting this above your head, whether it's through the social media, or someone above the borough president's head, because what you're doing is inappropriate.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Roxanne.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else that was missed that needs to address the committee for anything? Okay, do we have new business, or is it old
Also,
business?
the Angelos cannot be voting on
Okay.
2560. There's a conflict of
Roxanne,
interest. No, it's not
Roxanne, your
okay.
time
Conflict of
your time.
interest.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Yes,
I'll
it
put
is.
that on the
Yes.
record.
No more speaking, please.
Yes, it is.
Move on. So do we have
we will-
any old business?
Okay.
Hey, Jeremy, did we speak on everything that you have listed on the old business already?
I think we came to just, well, we heard from the gallery, so can we vote on the land use motion?
Yes. So can you
All right,
repeat
that-
the motion that Ken made, so that way everybody knows?
I don't, technically, you don't have to vote on. I will try to get from the applicant the questions asked regarding AMI and whatever else was discussed at this meeting.
But since the motion's on the floor, don't we have to vote on it, or we?
Yeah, technically it was, a motion was on the floor earlier, but I asked Ken to withdraw it and he said, okay, so technically he withdrew it, so no, there's no motion on the floor.
Okay.
Unless somebody just made one right now.
No, it's withdrawn right now, Jeremy.
So we don't really need a vote. I will work to get the answers from the applicant as soon as
Okay.
possible.
That's fine, so the motion was withdrawn. Do we have any new business?
Oh, wait, old business Facebook group. We talked about it
yeah.
at the very beginning. So I don't know if Debbie, since she's a member of the committee, I believe, wants to discuss this issue. She's pretty well versed, or she wants me to, or Al, or whoever.
You can.
I think they
All right,
wanted-
so
I think they wanted to
in
make-
2010, the Bronx Community Board 11 Facebook group was created by Joanne Rubino. It was made an official committee in 2000, official page of the community board in 2012. It's been problematic for multiple ways and multiple reasons. Long story short, Joanne and the other admins of the group would be happy to make it an unofficial page. We only have, so we have 2 pages on Facebook right now. I know somebody asked me about Instagram. I said, bring it up with the committee. So we have a Facebook group and a Facebook page. They're both official pages or arms of the community board. We make the group unofficial, or no longer an official page. Is that clear, Debbie?
Yes.
So I don't know if anyone wants to make a motion here. You want to
Yeah, the
discuss it?
Facebook page is the government page. The one that Joanne Rubino made was adopted in 2012.
12.
Okay, so Debbie, you want to make a motion?
I make a motion for the Facebook group that was initiated by Joanne Rubino to be unofficial and to be separated from being an official page. So we're requesting for it to be an unofficial page.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
I'm not really comfortable with that.
Okay, we're gonna go into discussion.
What's that?
So we have a motion by Debbie, seconded by Joe and Al. And now we're gonna go into discussion. So Miguel, you wanted to speak on it?
I'm just not really comfortable with that. That's all.
Is there a reason?
Yeah, why are you uncomfortable with it?
Why are you uncomfortable? It's something that Joanne Rubino.
Oh, I'm
has
so
made-
sorry. I'm so sorry. I was having a problem unmuting. No, the issue I think is that there's a lot of confusion as far as that goes. Like, what is official, what is not, and who is, who is able to post and not post.
On the Facebook page that's done by the city, that's the official page, that's the government page. That's just done basically of certain public notification, not no lost pet or anything like that.
So
Joanne-
Debbie, I think I think you're talking about the other page, which is
So
what I created.
The group that Joanne Rubino made is the one we want to separate. It was just made the one that Joanne Rubino made was just a community type of page. It got adopted group. Sorry, it was a group, and it got adopted by the community board. We just want to be given up for adoption. Yeah,
I think it's pretty. It's just pretty. I don't know what the issue is, but the page is the official page that's done by the city, right? That's the page.
right. And
A group is like a team of people that are on a community that decided to create a group page where you can post missing dogs, trees, things in your neighborhood, whatever's going on, block parties maybe, whatever it is, but that's it within the group. And they want to make it unofficial because it may have things in there that are not official information.
I mean, if anybody wants details, people are complaining about fundraisers.
Jump in here and say something and ask some questions
Go ahead,
before you
Christine.
move on.
Good.
I just want to know what the motive is for wanting to make it unofficial now. What happened?
That's what I was trying to explain.
We've been wanting to make it unofficial for a while. We just tired of being under a microscope when it was initially made to be stuff of the community and not having anybody nitpicking on any little thing.
Gotcha.
Like I said,
That's why I wanted clarification. That's all.
just another question.
Hold on, please let Debbie finish talking before you jump in.
The Facebook page by the government, that's going to be left alone. We're only talking about the one that Joanne Rubino had made on her own accord and eventually got adopted by the board in 2012. We just want to separate and not be adopted anymore. We want to be.
They want to break the link. They want to break the link.
Okay, so my question, a follow-up question is, because I want clarification and I want the whole community to be very clear on this because this has been a discussion for a very long time. And recently, a lot of people have complained that they were blocked by the group page. So if you go back to being an unofficial page, you have the power to block any community member, correct?
Yeah.
Any of the admins do, yeah.
Okay, so on the official page, not the group, but the page, no one is allowed to post any comments on it except the admins, correct?
Yes.
So there is no room for community discussion anywhere, if that
No,
helps.
no, you can comment on posts.
Right, but only posts that the committee shares, like like an article and something like that.
The
right?
admins, yeah, the admins,
Yeah.
admins.
Right. So is there a problem with keeping the community page official and letting other people run it as admins and those people who are uncomfortable with, the government oversight to, start another group page?
A third group page now?
Well, if they feel uncomfortable because there's so many community members on that.
Why don't we make 4 group page, 5, 6 maybe?
So let me just clarify. Let me just say one thing.
If
Christine.
someone's talking, please don't interrupt. This meeting's going on forever. We let Christine finish her thought, and then
Yeah.
somebody can respond.
Christine,
Can
continue.
answer if you want. At least attempt to.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's supposed to be speaking.
Do you have anything
Christine
else
or
to say?
Debbie?
So my question was, I guess, posed to Debbie and any of the admins of the group page, since there are so many people already on the community group page, right? And
Hold on a second, Christine. Can you please stop?
Sorry.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
That's right, Debbie. All right, go ahead.
so the question again is, can we keep the group page as is,
Unofficial.
official,
No.
Oral,
That's
please?
it.
I'm
Oral,
speaking
please.
to Debbie and the people who, you know, are sort of like owning that page or that group, you know, chat. I don't want the community to lose, you know, like their ability to have some input or say in things that are happening in the community.
They could still have their input, if I can interject. What the problem is, if they want to put up something like I think Oral put it perfectly, lost dog or a fundraiser or a church event or something like that. You don't have someone coming on saying, I don't want that church event on because it goes against my beliefs, or a synagogue, it goes against my beliefs.
And it was, sorry, but it was also getting nitpicky of even like if a school wanted to have a card party or some sort of fundraiser type of thing, if they're having an admission, the city was basically saying we couldn't do it. So you're now basically hurting the schools that we're trying to help. You're hurting our own, it's being caused to hurt our own community.
Isn't the easy answer just to say this is not like this is about Community Board 11, but this is not directly condoned by.
We
If I
as
may-
admins would see a school flyer, we would allow it. All of a sudden, we're getting emails and notifications from people from the borough president's office that we have to remove it because there's an omission or stuff like that. So we're just getting tired of the micromanaging, and we want to be a community.
Debbie, if I may speak, why can't you
Go
just
ahead.
have a page called Community Board 11 News?
Anybody's welcome to, like that Joy made the page many years ago. Anybody's welcome to make their own page. There's Friends of Community Board 11. There's all sorts of pages, but we want.
Debbie,
Hold on, let her finish.
We just want it to be unofficial again.
Okay, who is
So
that,
Debbie-
Jeremy?
Yeah, Debbie. So let me just clarify. So, long story short, it's highly time consuming. I mean, even though I disagreed with Al's predecessor's decision to have me not be on Facebook anymore, at least, you know, that in some ways has been a blessing because it's highly time consuming. The other thing, Debbie keeps referring to the government page. That's a page I created in response to a board member not liking the group format, wants a normal business format page, which is what I created and claimed. And yeah, I'm an admin of that, and I think Yahe and the rest. I think I made the rest of the social media committee members admins. If I haven't yet, I apologize, and I'll do that.
You did. I think you did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I did by
it's
now.
all hours of the night.
And just to
Yeah.
be clear, the Facebook group is not going anywhere. That's still going to be a community page where you could post any issues or anything. That page is still going to be active, right, Debbie?
Yes.
Yeah, more leniency in what you can put up.
Additionally, it was only made official a few months ago. Am I correct?
No.
No, 2012, and
It got adopted in 2012. It's been adopted for 10 years.
And I think part of the reason for this is if anybody wants to publish a fundraiser, they can do it, you know, and without being, because one complaint means nobody has fundraiser things out there.
Right, but
Christine, does that answer
yeah,
your question?
yeah, but my concern is the community input. Like a lot of people have complained about the community. I'm sorry, the yes, the community group page having blocked members out of it, community members out of it.
On the content.
So they have
Depends on content.
so they have the you know the free will. They don't have to, you know, speak to anybody about it, right? They just have power to keep community people out, right? And so that's a concern because we don't always agree on stuff, right? And what might seem, you know, inappropriate for one person might not necessarily be that for someone else.
So I have a suggestion, Christine, if you don't, or Al, what, I mean, or do you just want to vote? Why don't we just vote, Al? You want to vote, or Veronica?
Well, I mean, does anybody else have anything to say that hasn't spoken yet?
I mean, I can go on.
Well, the only thing that I would say, that I have you know, you're leaving it, if you just leave it like that, Christine, you really leave it open to whatever, right? Or you want someone to vet things coming in and make it appropriate to post something, or because what you're saying is just have a free for all group page where anyone could just post anything, even if it's inappropriate for one versus another. I don't know. You got to have some level of responsibility on the page, right?
Well, the group page already has rules, right?
Yes.
Right.
Don't you guys shut it down completely? Let whoever wants to start a new page, let them start a new page.
Okay, Bernadette, you have your hand up.
I was going to ask, I never noticed that if there were rules or not rules on that page, and if there are rules, maybe the rules should be looked at and just given more clarity so people understand it.
There are rules. I do know when you look at the Facebook page via a mobile device, it's not as easy to navigate and see the rules versus if you're on a laptop or a desktop.
That is, yeah, well, that's just part of it. That it's always like that. It's always been that way. So.
Right. Okay. Hazel, you have your hand up?
Yeah, two things. First of all, I mean, whether there's rules or not, people don't always abide by the rules anyway. And we have that issue with our 49 precinct council page. But I just wanted to know who seconded Debbie's motion, because I'm taking notes.
Joe Thompson.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So can we vote on it at this point?
No public input before you make a vote on this?
Roxanne, you're on two different devices. Can you mute one of them, please?
Yes, yes, I just did.
She can't speak anymore.
Okay.
I just want to say that since
no,
this was an official page, you can't just make it unofficial. You either deactivate the page or keep it as an official. And the issue is not so much the public, it's the admins are not abiding by the New York City guidelines. You can't use a board page to raise money or to electioneer.
Okay. Thank you, Roxanne. But the gallery session's over, so this we're gonna go ahead and mute on it and vote on it. Sorry.
Yeah, I think we're time.
So does anybody object to this motion? So we have one objection from Christine Culpepper. Anyone else?
She's not a member of the committee. So just note
right.
for the record that her and Roxanne are
Only
against
the
it.
leadership committee members that are voting right now.
Gotcha.
Okay, so anyone from the committee that has an objection? Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes.
So
Okay.
the full board will, this will go on the agenda for the full board meeting. So it's not been finalized yet, okay, for everybody? Go
Right,
ahead,
so
Veronica,
this
sorry.
still has to go before the full board. This is just a recommendation to the full board at this moment.
Yeah, any of the
Okay.
motions.
And is there anything else that we need to discuss, Jeremy, or are we done?
I think Chris, Harriet,
I second.
Okay,
All in favor?
it is now, what time is it?
9:23.
9:20.
9:23, meeting is over.
Okay.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good evening.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Sorry,
Good
sorry
night.
for,
All right.
talking to us.
All right, everyone. Great job, everyone.